Alright, we're fake drunk still again for 16 hours or whatever now it is. Maybe 17, 18, 14, 12. I don't know anymore. I don't know, but we got a thing to do. We're continuing with our Ichio scratchies. And next up on the docket is Touhou ga Gotoku. That's like that's the company that makes the Yakuza games, isn't it? Something similar like that. Hey, like a phoenix, like a phoenix. We've met a bird person before here. I mean, we met the birdings, which was the Touhou thing at all, but that's fine. That was still neat one. But we met somebody who was like a bird person here as well. In the Dreaming of Eggs thing, that one, I think. Anyway, let's go into the thing. Let's go to the thing. It's EXE. It's a Unity thing. So hopefully it's not too much of a game, because we can't handle that. My brain can't handle games all that well. I'm casual. I'm filthy casual, you know. I'm cool with that. Like, I like being casual. It's simple. Life's easier when you're just being casual. Hey, do we recognize those? Recognize there's a bird up top there. Is that Mokou? I think that's Mokou. Mokou's cool. Graphics ultra, fuck yeah. Text, message speed ultra faster, please. Or Mipsum, come on now. Skip Burrito. Sound, master volume is fine. Music a little bit less than that. Should be ears effects a bit less. Voices, less. Guess I'm the voice of all the things. New game. New game. No, sorry. I'm glad you have voice acting, but I'm here to do the voice acting. If you want to experience the voice acting of the original things, you're gonna have to go get this and play yourself, okay? Like, I'm absolutely certain the people involved in this did a wonderful job. That's cool. But like, that's not what this channel is about. I'm out here to voice all the things, because that's how it works here. That's how it works. Otherwise, there's no point in me doing this at all. Anyway, goodbye, lady. I'm sure you did it. Like, you had a lovely voice, but we're not going to hear it ever again here. I'm sorry. But no, I'm not, because that's not how it works here. Anyway, once upon a time in the land of Far East, there lived a girl. Her father was noble and always busy. Despite being home rarely, he always took the time to play with her. Oh, that's good. Good on him. He was strict sometimes, but also very kind. Yeah, being a parent is a tough thing, apparently. I wouldn't know anything about it, and probably never will, and hopefully never find out, though. I don't want to be a parent. That sounds like a horrible thing to do. I mean, for me. Other people enjoy being parents. That's great. Good for you. It's a choice. It's a choice. One that I will choose to be in the negative forever. And all her life, he told her she had to stay home, never to leave the house. Okay, that's not good. Anyway, I take back what I said about him previously. She didn't understand why, but she did as she was told, living day by day within the four walls. The girl was often alone, but she was happy, and she loved her father dearly. I mean, that's what kids typically do. One day, the girl heard a beautiful princess who came from the moon. The moon rabbits. Cool. The princess was said to be the most fair in all the land. They usually are. The girl's father proclaimed, "I will marry the princess." Good for him. And so the father left to ask for the princess's hand in marriage. Wait, wasn't he already... Wait, I'm confused. He was a noble, he had a daughter, or is she an adopted daughter, or is her original mother dead, or what? I'm missing some key details here. I'm missing some key detail. Now, when he met the princess, she gave him a challenge. 5 artifacts must be retrieved before he could take the princess as his bride. He accepted the challenge and departed. The father returned home to boast once more. "I will marry the princess," he said before departing on his quest. One day passed. A week, a month, and even a year passed, but there was no sign of him returning. Her father would never return home. Yeah. Her father was the only person to be nice to her, and she missed him bitterly. Ah. The girl became sad, then she became very angry. "It's the princess's fault my father won't return," she said. She swore revenge for what the princess did, and one day she found the chance. The little girl heard word of a magical elixir the princess once gifted to the emperor. The emperor was scared of the elixir, as he thought it was too powerful. It's the immortality elixir, I think. He ordered his soldiers to throw it into Mount Fuji, so no one could have it. If she could take the elixir for herself, she had a chance to get back at the princess. For the first time, the girl left her house. She walked and walked, as far as her feet could carry her, and then she reached Mount Fuji. However, her feet were too tired. The girl could walk no longer. The girl started to cry as she could not climb the mountain. The elixir was still so far away. Just then, a man appeared. It was one of the soldiers who the emperor sent to throw the elixir into the volcano. Is Mount Fuji a volcano? I guess it is. I don't know. I don't know anything about Mount Fuji other than it's like a super big mountain there in Japan. He helped her up, and so together they climbed. Soon they reached the top. He had been so nice to me, she thought. But she has to engage her golem mode now. But she promised to herself, and the promise she must keep. Together they stood there, on top of the volcano. She stood there, thinking how nice the man was to her, the only other person to show her kindness. She took a step back, and then she pushed him into the pit. Damn, this is a dark story. Fuck me. The girl took the elixir and ran as fast as she could down the mountain. She was alone once more, and she started to cry again. Tears rolled down her face as she drank the elixir. Damn. It's not a happy story at all. It's really sad. And we're at the bar again. Hello, Reisen, the moon rabbit. What do I do? What did I do with her? I don't remember at all. I know what... do I remember what I did with Mokou? I don't remember at all. It's been too long. Anyway. I was not aware there was a bar in such close proximity to Ayante. It's relatively new. I think it was a ramen shop before. But you know, this place isn't exactly close to the main road. I can't imagine many people came here to get ramen. I hope this bar proves its staying power. Having a place to relax after work would help immensely. I'll be sure to provide the bar with my continued patronage. In any case, what did you want to talk about, Fujiwara-san? Don't really need reason to hang out with you. You know, we aren't exactly friends. I mean, we aren't colleagues either. But you also, lest you forget, try to murder my employer on a regular basis. That's kind of... Okay, they do? What? That's true, but you won't count me to your enemies either, right? I suppose so. If nothing else, you have actually helped out more than caused harm. You do bring people to Eirin-sama from time to time. Fighting with you seems to at least somewhat keep Kaguya-hime entertained. And she can't exactly die, now can she? You don't really have to remind me of that. I kinda just wanted to you know, just hang out with someone. Talking about random stuff, you know? Very well, let's talk. How about... work? Right, we'll just go through the checklist of all the things. Rise's job, what do you do as a moon rabbit in a snazzy little suit, but also a tiny mini skirt? That you're plucking at for some reason. Like, the suit's fine, the mini skirt was like, why? Come on now. And Mokou's just, I don't even know. Mokou's just great. That's great. I love it. Hey. I want to know more about your job.
My job?
Yeah, I mean, I know you work at Ayante for Kaguya, but, what do you do exactly?
Well, if I had to describe it, I'd say I'm Kaguya-hime's servant and Airen-sama's personal assistant.
And that means,
That means that I do whatever it is required of me. Guarding the princess, delivering messages, giving directions to other servants. Most of the time it means running errands for them, in essence.
So you're basically their goon?
I wouldn't put it that way.
Now you mention it, there are others like you, right?
We have a lot of rabbits in our employ, both Earth and Moon rabbits, yes.
There's a difference? Wait, there are rabbits on the moon?
I mean, yes, I am from the moon and I am a rabbit.
Can't say that should be surprising, I just didn't know you were a moon rabbit. Well, I wasn't aware that you were from the moon to begin with.
I suppose it doesn't make much of a difference to humans. Earth rabbits and moon rabbits seem to be identical to humans. Well, any human I've met at least.
You can't really expect people to know the difference if they aren't aware that there are even two different kinds of rabbits.
To be fair, I'm not even sure if Kaguya-hime really knows a difference between the two. She calls all of Inaba. I'm just one of many Inaba. It's a little bit depressing, to be honest with you.
Hey, what is the difference anyway?
You know, now that you mentioned, it would be hard to explain to you. There are some subtle differences in appearance, but I guess non-rabbits wouldn't pick up on them. But beyond superficial differences, the two are very different at physiological and metaphysical levels. Earth and moon rabbits tick a little differently is what I'm saying.
So what you're saying is I probably couldn't tell the difference if I tried.
Essentially, yes. But I suppose if you had spent a long time with both kinds, you might be able to pick up on some differences.
Meaning it's not something I'd probably do. Got it. You call yourself their personal assistant though?
Yes.
If you're just one of many, why would you be their personal assistant then?
Well, now that you mentioned, Airen-sama does call me her favorite servant. In contrast to Kaguya-hime, Airen-sama calls me by name. Aww. Well, she has a nickname for me, but still.
Sounds like you're popular with your boss. Good for you.
Yes, I suppose.
So, what even is Ayante? What the fuck is that? Hey Reisen, explain to me this.
What is it?
What do you guys at Ayante even do?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I know Ayante is basically just the name of the big mansion and stuff, but like, having such a big mansion needs money? Not to mention that all you little goons of that there immortal bitch also live there. And last time I've seen you all work at Ayante, right?
I would like you to refrain from calling the princess that, but you do have a point there.
So, what do you guys even do, as an organization, I mean?
Believe it or not, I don't really know.
Come on, don't lie to me.
I am not. I'm just following orders. I'm not very involved in the business side of things. I guess though that Airen-sama does produce pharmaceuticals and we distribute those. Plus we own a lot of land around the area and receive money from those properties. We also provide protection services.
So, you're Yakuza. I guess.
What? No, why would you think that?
I mean, it makes sense. Well, sounds like to me a hell of a lot like the Yakuza. You guys are not involved in that?
No, not to my knowledge. We are an independent organization, to my knowledge at least.
Then what do you call that organization then?
A real estate business?
That's just the Yakuza. That's just like the mafia or something, basically. A real estate business that owns a lot of turf, happens to distribute medicine, and gets protection money from smaller businesses around their turf.
Please don't put it that way. You are making it sound like we are criminals.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Could we change the subject?
Sure. What'd you do previously? What's your previous job, Miss Moon Rabbit? You mentioned having lived on the moon before.
Yeah, what about it?
What were you doing for a living back then? Assuming you even had jobs? And then again, you ended up on Earth somehow.
Well, to be honest, it was much like today. I was a member of the Royal Guard.
Really? Sounds important.
I wouldn't exactly say that. It was just another job. The lunar capital is very isolated from any other realm, so there weren't many threats to deal with. I have to say, life on the moon was very laid back. As you may know, lunar technology is way more advanced than anything you can find nowadays here on Earth. Well, nowadays Earth technology is starting to approach that of the moon, but it's still a far cry from what we had on the moon. Thanks to that, life was very carefree. It was nice.
How'd you end up here then?
I'm saying life was very carefree, but it wasn't perfect. You were basically forbidden from leaving the capital out of fear that someone, somehow, could figure out how to get to the capital. Life on the moon, according to official statements, was only able to be so good because the moon was a spiritually pure realm. Earth, on the other hand, was seen as a place of the unpure. Having to live on Earth was like a capital punishment for the people of the moon, a fate worse than death. Because of this, the capital was isolated and the court lived in constant fear of the capital being discovered. It was quite oppressive sometimes.
How the hell would anyone figure out that there is a city on the moon? I mean, I know about it and I still can't imagine how such a thing could exist. So how in the hell would somebody discover it, let alone get there?
You'd be surprised, but according to legend, there was a man a long time ago who somehow landed on the moon, near the capital.
Okay, I mean there's multiple people who landed on the moon since after him.
It is unknown how he did that, but my former master took him in out of the kindness of her own heart, or maybe not, that was someone else.
Oh, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, time is different. I don't know. Never mind. I jump to conclusions. I do that. I jump to conclusions sometimes, look, okay?
Even so, he was never told the truth. They told him something about the capital being the Dragon Palace at the bottom of the ocean.
What? Okay. What?
I don't know what happened to him after that. I never verified the story with Her Highness.
That story sounds familiar. I think there was a legend about someone like that. Wait, is that King Arthur the one? No, I don't know. Well, anyways, back topic. You haven't explained how you got here.
Right. Besides that legend of the man who traveled to the moon, there have been invasions from Earth. From what I recall, the first invasion was orchestrated by a small army of Earthlings. I think they used some sort of magic to get to the moon. I wasn't born yet when that happened though, so I don't know much about it. However, about 30 years ago, a group of humans was sent to the moon to claim the moon as the property of some country. Their objective being to plant a flag.
Okay, now we have Armstrong. That's it.
It sounds banal if you say it like this, but for the capital it was a huge deal. Planting that flag could pollute the moon, which would have been a disaster. Life on the moon would have ceased to exist.
That's serious?
I'm afraid so. The spiritual purity of the moon is a fickle matter. Either way, members of the Royal Guard, me included, were dispatched in a preemptive strike against the invaders. Suffice it to say, things didn't go as planned.
I thought lunar technology was more advanced. I'd assume you'd mop the floor with these guys.
You would think so, but Command sorely underestimated these humans and their weaponry. My unit was wiped out and I had to flee. Somehow, while fleeing through the Lake of Tranquility, I was transported to Earth. I tried getting back, but it seems it was way easier going from the moon to Earth than the other way around. Soon after that, I met Irene-sama and she took me in.
So you were a soldier in that conflict, huh?
Well, I was whatever the court needed me to be. It's just what the role of a Royal Guard entails.
Huh. I assume you have given up on going back then? If you were the sole survivor of your unit, I guess they just assumed you were killed as well?
That is not entirely correct.
Oh?
You see, moon rabbits can't communicate telepathically with each other. It's one of the things that makes us different from the Earth rabbits. A few months ago, I received a transmission from a rabbit on the moon. She was an old colleague of mine. Apparently, there has been another invasion, and since I was one of the first rabbits to fight humans, they wanted me back.
You didn't want to? I mean, all things considered, living on the moon sounds pretty neat.
It's complicated. I can't say I don't miss living on the moon, but Earth has its own charm. Sure, there's a lot more trouble here, but that is part of what makes it endearing.
I couldn't say either way. I've only lived on Earth. Well, as long as you're happy here.
Yeah, besides.
Huh?
It's complicated, but you know, I don't think I ever felt anything akin to loyalty to the Lunar Court. It was just my job. With Eirin-sama and Kaguya-hime, it feels like this is what I really want to do. This is where I want to be.
I hope they appreciate you then. You know, I was thinking of maybe switching things up myself.
Meaning?
Switch of career paths, I mean.
Oh, that's interesting. What did you have in mind?
I was thinking maybe I could try my hand at being a teacher. Really? Hey, what's so funny?
Oh, nothing. It's just, you don't really strike me as the teaching type. What gave you the idea anyways?
It's just, kinda always seems so passionate about her job, being a teacher and all. So I felt it could be nice to change pace if nothing else. Well, I have very limited experience in that field myself. I was a drill instructor for a few months that one time though. If human children are anything like rabbits, it's a lot of work. Oh, wait,
If human children are anything like rabbits, it's a lot of work.
No, I get that.
What would you like to teach anyways?
I know I'm not the smartest, but with me spending the last 1,000 years or so just roaming the countryside and fighting. But what I am good at is fighting. So I thought, maybe being a physical education teacher would be good for me.
I suppose that sounds reasonable. I do have to wonder though, how does one become a teacher?
That is a good question.
Couldn't you ask that teacher friend of yours?
Yeah. I suppose that would be a good place to start. Anyways, let's talk about something else.
Fair enough.
Change topic. Let's go talk about people. Let's talk about Reisen. Let's talk about you, Reisen. Why not tell me a little bit about yourself?
Me? No, I don't know what there is to tell really. I mean, I suppose you know enough about me anyways.
Oh. Fair enough, I don't, but okay. I guess we did learn a bit. Yes, we did learn quite a bit about her already. Actually, tell us about Kaguya-hime. Even if I don't like it, maybe it'd be a good idea if you told me about Kaguya.
What do you want to know?
Wait. Gotta get drunk first. Okay, here we go. Tell me how she ended up here.
Alright. Well, all this happened a very long time ago.
Roughly 1,300 years ago, I assume.
I suppose so. In any case, Kaguya-hime is somewhat of a reviled figure in lunar history. She's kind of a legendary figure actually. I don't know what happened exactly, but it is said that she was exiled for a crime she committed. After decades in exile, she was forgiven for her crime by the royal court. They sent an envoy to bring her back to the moon, but she slaughtered them all and went into hiding. Among the ambassadors was Eirin-sama. Murdering a Lunarian is a severe enough crime as is, let alone the murder of multiple. But killing someone as distinguished and important as Eirin-sama. People were outraged, suffice it to say. Her actions branded Kaguya-hime as a traitor to the moon. And so she became enemy number one, the arch-traitor Kaguya Horai-san. Or so the legend goes.
I'm almost surprised that she has always had a penchant for ruining people's lives. Wait, hold up. You said Eirin was killed by Kaguya? Last time I checked, she was still breathing.
Yes, that is what confused me as well. I met Eirin-sama shortly after I came to Earth. I was shocked to say the least.
So what's going on? Does that mean they were in the cahoots all along?
I don't know. I've never asked.
Come on, aren't you curious? I think that'd be like the first thing you'd ask in that situation. Well, okay, I guess meeting someone for the first time and asking why you're not dead is probably bad form. It's probably bad manners at the very least.
At least you understand.
Well, at the very least I now know what her deal is, somewhat.
That is good to hear.
Doesn't make me hate her less. Maybe even more, I don't know. What about Iron? Tell me about Iron.
Eirin-sama. Well, she...
Look, I don't know how to pronounce that word, okay? We're just gonna go with either.
Well, she's a very prolific figure, even legendary. How long Eirin-sama has been alive is unknown, but she is noted to have been alive for most of the moon's history. She's a masterful alchemist and a brilliant scientist. A lot of technology that exists on the moon was based on her research.
Is she the popular one?
She is indeed. Her assumed death was a huge tragedy.
She's loud though.
Unbeknownst to the moon, it seems.
That is pretty weird.
Indeed.
I mean, didn't they sort of maybe figure out that she might be alive by now?
We are not sure. They might be, they might not be. I only know we haven't had an assassin or the sort come to Earth.
Well, anyways, besides all that, you seem to be very fond of her.
Working for someone you heard your entire life about, a living legend, is pretty great, to be frank.
Not a case of never meet your heroes?
I wouldn't say so, no. She's very much how I imagined her to be. I would dare to even say she might be more brilliant than the legends make it out to be.
That's smart.
She's taking care of running the organization alongside her research and taking care of the princess's needs.
Do I want to know? Never mind. Knowing Kaguya, she is probably a handful. I guess I should give Iron more credit. Who's Tewi? Tui? So what's the deal with the rabbit you always hang out with? What's her face?
I assume you mean Tewi-san.
Yeah, that one.
I don't know what to say. We work together. She helps to intermediate between us moon rabbits and the earth rabbits.
Doesn't seem like you're too fond of her.
I don't resent her. It's just... she is a slacker. She often just does whatever she pleases instead of doing her job. I don't want to tolerate such behavior.
Assuming you have told her that?
More times than I could care to remember.
Oh well, I guess some people, right?
It seems so, as much as I hate to admit it.
Alright, who's Mistia? That's a new name. What do you think of Mistia?
Excuse me?
Doesn't ring a bell?
I can't say that I've heard the name before.
She's that young-looking bird yokai who runs that weird little food stall in the shopping street.
Now that you mention, I think I've seen her around, yes. I don't think I've ever bought anything from her stall, though.
I think I did once or twice. It's alright, just her stall is a tad weird.
How so?
Well, first off, her main product she advertises grilled lamprey.
Grilled lamprey?
Yeah, it is a substitute for yakitori, apparently. She has other stuff too, like tempura shrimps, mostly fish, but grilled lamprey is the main attraction, as it were.
I have to say, I'm not entirely familiar with Japanese cuisine. I mean, to be fair, I have lived here for the better part of 3 decades, but never have I heard of grilled lamprey, not to my knowledge at least.
Trust me, I have lived here in Japan for the better part of a century and I still have never heard of grilled lamprey.
Well, I suppose innovation is a good thing. What did you mean by yakitori substitute?
It seems she's against people eating birds, so she wants to sell fish.
It does make sense.
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, I'm just saying lamprey is the last thing I expected as a substitute.
Then tell me, how does it taste?
I guess it's unique in flavor, but I'd rather eat yakitori.
Well, I guess I will go see for myself at some point.
You do that. Okay. Sure. Kind. Hey, Reisen.
Yes?
What do you think of Kain?
Do you mean the human you are usually with?
Yeah. Oh, she's being a little shy and bashful here, Mokou.
Well, I can't say I have had any chance to talk to her for any meaningful measure of time, but I will say that she seems very kind.
What makes you think that? I mean, she is, but...
As far as I can recall, she has almost always picked you up and taken you with her when you've had a fight with Kaguya here. She was always very polite and apologetic for causing trouble. We should be thanking her, to be honest. Kaine-san seems so concerned whenever she sees you after the fight. It is kind of remarkable, actually. You cannot die, yet she always finds it in her heart to worry about you. That, I would say, marks her as quite the remarkably kind person.
To be fair, I do feel pain. I just have grown used to it over the years. It gets easier over time, dying over and over, you know. Whenever I tell Kanye that it's not a big deal since I can't die or anything, she says it's not the fact that I could die the fight that worries her. It's the fact that I get hurt, that I feel pain from the fight. That is what worries her.
Aww. Why do you still fight the princess then?
Because... honestly, don't know anymore. It's been a long time since I became immortal. Kage ruined the life I had back when I was a child. I wanted revenge, which is what drove me until now. Hell, it drove me to drink that stupid elixir in the first place. Now that I've found Kage and we fought for the past 300 years or so, well, I can't exactly kill her. She's immortal, same as me. Revenge kind of loses all meaning when you can never even enact it. So now I feel like it's all pointless and I wasted time, and I should just bury the hatchet or something. At the same time, it would feel like it would have been for nothing if I gave up. In short, I guess I feel obligated to keep this blood feud alive. To be fair, Kage doesn't make it any easier to quit since she regularly sends assassins after me. 90% they don't even know who I am. Man, I feel bad for those guys. Okay.
I didn't know that. I wouldn't have thought.
There is a reason why I hate her, you know.
Okay, so to get back on topic, you are fighting out of a morbid sense of obligation.
I mean, if you put it like that, well, I guess you're right.
Kine-san means a lot to you too, doesn't she?
What? It's just, you know, she does.
Then maybe you want to consider burying the hatchet then, or find other ways to defeat the princess.
Other ways, like in not fighting to the death?
You know, the mistress has become quite passionate about video games as of late. Fighting games in particular. Having a rival she cannot beat would surely deliver a decisive blow to the princess. It might sound silly, but at the very least you wouldn't need to worry about Kine-san this way.
Stop saying stupid shit like that. I'll consider it. Change topic. Alright, so let's talk about Touhou. What about the yokai and humans? The Touhou, what's that about? It is kind of strange how humans and yokai just sort of live together.
How so?
I suppose you might not know how things used to be, but while yokai have always existed since humans could think, basically, they were always in the shadows, basically known to people through legends and hearsay. When I was little, I was always scared of them. Anyways, at some point they just became more aggressive. Honestly, I haven't been paying attention to what was going on at the time, so I don't know how it happened exactly, but somehow yokai and humans just started living together. It's so weird to me to see creatures that I grew up hearing about in legends being my neighbors and stuff like that.
Well, things have been like this ever since I came to Earth. But I do have to say, from what I hear in the news, Japanese yokai are way more integrated into society than yokai elsewhere.
Well, it's probably due to the fact that our yokai live off of mischief and being feared. From what I heard, Western yokai are usually more malicious, eating the flesh of humans or drinking their blood to survive. Not that we don't have yokai like that too, but it is just rarer. That plus, there are enough legends about yokai being friendly towards humans or even benevolent beings. I guess we're just culturally more inclined to accept yokai as people.
I guess it would be hard for someone who is required to feed on humans to live peacefully alongside humans, without hurting them.
Yeah, it's not like I can imagine what it's like, but I assume it must be rough. It's not just that, but also that people will always see them as a possible danger to their life. Yokai like that are basically born on a very short leash. That must suck.
Indeed. You often hear of crimes committed by yokai in the news. With what you said in mind, one can assume many of these crimes are being committed because of these reasons.
You'd think so, right? It doesn't help the situation though.
Well, at least people are making strides to create ways for these yokai to also live peacefully alongside humans. Blood drives and such similar initiatives surely will pay off in the long run.
Here's hoping. Sure. Speaking of crime, you know, I wonder how Gensokyo's crime rate is compared to the rest of Japan.
That is an odd thought for the average person to consider.
You know, I deal with a lot of shady characters on a daily business. Freelance bodyguard work doesn't really allow you to be picky with your clients. So I think I have had run-ins with every single criminal organization the city has to offer. And there are quite a few. The Yakuza alone will have a pretty strong presence here. Honestly, I wish they would do a better job keeping crime off the streets.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't think I have ever had a stroll at night where someone didn't either try to mug me or I had to have saved someone else. Honestly, some of these petty thieves are way too ballsy for my liking. Come think of it, it happens here in the district more than anywhere else.
Here in the district? Really?
Yeah, what's up with that?
I suppose I have to talk with Terry about this.
Huh?
Keeping the peace in the district falls to the Earth Rabbits. We Moon Rabbits have other duties.
Okay, you lost me.
To put it simply, although Earth and Moon Rabbits have a lot in common, Moon Rabbits are averse towards open confrontations. We might have a greater potential for magic, but we would rather resolve things peacefully. Earth Rabbits in contrast are more eager in such a situation. As such, INTA uses us Moon Rabbits in roles that require less direct approaches to resolving conflict. For example, guarding the estate or delivering messages.
Huh. So why, if you guys are supposed to keep the streets clean, why do I have to knock people out all the time?
That is something I'd like to know as well, which is why I said I had to ask Terry about this matter.
Honestly, some Yakuza you are. Usually the Yakuza manage a better job keeping petty crime in check.
We are not Yakuza.
Then how else would you describe your organization?
We are a business.
A business. Okay, we already went over this stuff.
A business that works in real estate and provides medical services.
Unconvincing, but fair enough. Spell cards, the thing that they use in the Danmakus all the time. Whatever. And that one D&D thing we did. Is just me, or are there more magic duels going on the last couple of years? I don't know, but it just feels like the whole magic duel thing has become pretty popular.
Now that you mention it, I remember that a new law was passed a few years ago. The spell card laws, if I am not mistaken.
Spell card laws? First I heard of it. Speaking spell cards though, I remember that something changed about the way people fight. I think it was around the time that whole shebang with the red mist happened. Maybe it was a few years earlier, but I remember nobody really caring about spell cards. Nowadays, nobody really wants to have a go if you don't have a spell card prepared.
Yes, I believe that has something to do with these laws.
And what happened to the good old days where you just tossed fireballs at each other until one couldn't anymore?
Please don't throw fireballs around haphazardly.
Why? I've yet to start a fire I didn't want.
I assume this behavior is part of why these laws came into effect. After all, when society changes, laws must change too. Speaking of which, I heard something interesting in the news recently. It seems like the city is considering allowing same-sex couples to marry within city limits. Well, it's a bit surprising, given the country's stance on the matter. Although I do remember seeing quite a few young women around town being very close with each other.
I mean, yeah, we're in the Touhou world. There's only girls here, basically. And that one antique shop guy. That's it. Come on now.
I wonder if the relationship many of them had did not stop at being friends. If so, this law might be a result of this. To be honest, I don't really understand why this isn't law nationwide. Same-sex relationships have never been a problem on the moon. It seems a bit silly to me that it is a problem for the people of Earth, I must say.
And of course I'll be like quiet here. Hey, it would just be good Shoki, right, though?
Well, yes, I assume it would only affect this city.
I wonder, could this be a thing nationwide at some point?
You seem quite invested in the topic.
Let's change the subject.
Very well.
Drink your problems away, huh? Drink your... I guess that's where we do things. Relations to the moon. What's up with it? This is also actually, like, this might be kind of dry in many regards as presentation-wise goes, because just one character and another character in the same thing, and the music keeps looping very noticeably there. But you know, this is very informative, assuming this is like related to the canon. There's a music loop happening now. It's gotta drive me nuts a little bit. I need to quiet it down. Anyway, relations to the moon. It's very informative. I'm learning a lot of things, I think. I don't know how much of it I'm gonna remember, but we're learning. Anyway, you said something about assassins from Earth coming to the moon or something, right?
The invasion, yes.
What do you think are relations between the moon and Earth like nowadays?
That is a complicated question. Although I assume the people of Earth in general don't know about the existence of the lunar capital. The legend of Princess Kaguya might be the only surviving link between the two. As much as the capital wants to sever that threat too, I assume they just can't.
How can you fight in the war against people that don't even know you exist?
I don't know. I assume someone, probably a person in power, has to know and have orchestrated the invasion. The general population is blissfully unaware though, I'm sure.
Yeah, fair enough, I guess. That's not the night incident. About the night, there's a lot of incidents. What was the deal with that incident the other day? You know, the one where the night wouldn't end. It was a real hassle, man. All these yokai suddenly going crazy. Had to run all over town knocking people out left and right. And on top of that, I couldn't find kind anywhere. Man. Say, Reisen. Kaguya was behind that somehow, wasn't she? I'm sure of it.
There wasn't really any choice. The moon... They sent ambassadors to apprehend me. When I received that transmission, and I told Iron-sama, she and Kaguya Hime set the plan in motion. She said that she could never allow them to find us, neither me nor Kaguya Hime. We feared that if we didn't replace the moon with a fake one, it would not only destroy Ayante, but maybe even threaten the city as a whole.
This has been mentioned like recently, the moon thing, in others as well. Just replace the moon. Sure. But hey, we gain context behind it, huh?
Eirin-sama said herself when this capital found Kaguya in the city, they would probably destroy the city. To keep her existence and that of the lunar capital from becoming known.
Ugh.
Are you angry?
Very, but this is basically just a drop in the bucket. Just another bullet point on my why Kaguya is a shit list.
I understand, but please rest assured that we have taken measures against this happening again. Ayante is separated from this reality by magic Eirin-sama developed. The moon will never find the manor. She said that they would never dare to destroy the entire city without clear proof of Kaguya Hime being here. As long as they can't find Ayante and consequently the princess, Gensokyo is safe.
You better hope they don't. Man, after I finally found a place to live, Kaguya goes and fucks everything up again. Honestly. What's the flower incident? So what was up with that thing a few weeks ago? You know, that thing where the entire city was covered head to toe in flowers? Do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything in particular detail myself.
So that means you do know something.
At the time I was looking for Tewi. She disappeared shortly after the flowers started blooming. When I finally caught up to her, she challenged me to a fight out of the blue. After putting Tewi in her place, the Shrine Maiden appeared and said to leave the rest up to her.
Basically, you know nothing.
Yes, that is what I was trying to tell you. All that I saw were flowers and people challenging me to fights. It was a rather weird incident, all things considered.
Well, at least the flowers were pretty.
I agree with that sentiment.
I changed topic to the finalistical. Oh, not the finalistical love. We're gonna get to the finalistical, but first we have some free time. So, friends. So, since we're hanging out like two old buddies, what do you usually do when you hang out with friends?
To be honest, I don't usually go out much. I'm happily married to my work. Although I do go out on occasion with my colleagues. I'd say they are the closest I have in regards to friends.
I guess we are in kind of the same boat then. Aside from the fact that I don't have a fixed occupation, so I don't have any real work buddies, and not a lot of friends in general, come to think of it.
What about the teacher you are usually with?
Kinda. Kinda doesn't drink much, so I can't exactly take her out to drink with me.
You are aware that there are other things you can do with friends besides drinking, right? I assume you see Kaine-san quite often. You do seem very close. What do you usually do when you are with her?
Talking mostly.
Like we are doing right now?
Exactly. Drink. An awkward topic, and Mokou just has to drink the topic away. I love that little detail. Blink and you'll miss it, but it's great.
Fair enough.
Hey, speaking of alcohol, you get real drunk, I'll get fake drunk.
Do you like alcohol, Reisen? I honestly do. I wouldn't have thought that at first, but I do. At first I felt obligated to do so, since it is part of the local culture.
Wait, is the dialogue mixed up?
I have to say that after a while, the relief of stress brought by alcoholic beverages is very appealing.
Good to hear. I agree with you there, haha. Oh, that's it, okay. Anyway, fighting. She loves fighting, yeah. You know, when I'm bored, I sometimes go out and look for a fight.
I've noticed. After all, you appear at our estate quite frequently, challenging Kaguya-hime to deadly duels and such.
That's an entirely different matter, and you know it. Anyways, do you have the desire to, you know, wreck face?
I have to admit that I am not particularly fond of violence. Most moon rabbits aren't, I believe.
I didn't enjoy it at first either. It was just something I had to do. Well, I'd say to survive, but...
I understand.
Yeah, so at first I just did it to defend myself. I started to learn magic to make it easier on me. When I became competent using fire magic and fist fighting, it began being fun.
Is it fun for you to fight Kaguya-hime too?
I don't know how to answer that.
Very well. Please don't be too reckless when you're having your fun with the princess. Repairs can get quite costly. Besides, the human that picks you up afterwards seems to be exceedingly worried for your well-being. I'd advise you not to make her worry too much.
Anyway, speaking of fighting Mokou. So I know you don't like fighting, but what is your stance towards a spell card battle? Those seem to be the most popular things these days, and I'd say they are generally a lot safer than your regular ordinary street fight.
I'm not very knowledgeable on the matter, I have to admit. Mainly because I don't like fighting. So the fights I am involved in are usually of a lethal nature, sadly. Though the matter of spellcard duels puzzles me a bit. Haven't duels of this nature existed since at least the last 3 decades? I do distinctly remember being shocked how casually these duels have been carried out back when I came to Earth.
Nah, spellcards have existed back then, but they weren't as common. Nowadays, magic duels for fun and sports are almost always carried out with spellcards. That has been a very recent phenomenon though. Maybe 3 years, 5 years? I'm terrible keeping track of time.
Well, as I said, I'm not very knowledgeable on the subject. I will take your word for it.
Okay, final topic before we get to the topic of things. You rabbits still need to eat food, right?
Certainly. I could not come up with a reason that would convince you otherwise.
So what kind of food do you like?
It is quite embarrassing because it seems to be quite a stereotype, but I am very fond of mochi.
Yeah, no, I get ya. People often give me weird looks when I tell them I like yakitori, so I understand what you mean.
Why would anyone find this weird?
Well, you see, I have a bit of a reputation on the streets. Because of my mortality and my affinity for fire magic, some assume that I'm a phoenix. So word go around now, a lot of people tell stories about Phoenix attack Toriku. When people recognize me and see me eating yakitori, they get freaked out by it. You know, because a bird eating another bird is cannibalism or something like that.
I'm not entirely familiar with the dietary needs of phoenixes. But I do know birds of prey sometimes eat smaller birds. It might be considered normal for phoenixes to eat birds, but I couldn't know either way.
Yeah, you tell them that to those guys. I wouldn't know either, to be honest. You could ask your boss, she might know.
I could do that.
Well, I don't really care. If they want to think of me as a phoenix that eats chicken, so be it.
Fair enough.
Alright, let's go down to the last topic, the one that's gotta be avoiding a little bit. A little bit shy there. Well, go ahead, talk about love. Say, Reisen.
Yes.
Have you ever, fallen in love with someone before?
I had a feeling you wanted to talk about something like this. As for an answer to your question, I have not. To be quite honest, I'm not interested in men, or women for that matter. As such, I'm not very versed in romantic matters. I will concede, however, that I do enjoy reading romantic novels and manga on occasion.
Wait, not interested in men or women at all? Like, at all? And you still read romance novels? Yeah, I do too. I don't give a fuck about romance in my life. Like, I observe. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. I don't want any of that in my life, but I do want to read about it because it's neat and fun.
I am more interested in the idea of love as a concept and less with the actual application of this concept, especially relationships.
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't feel a need to engage with someone in such a fashion.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Besides, I'm already happily married to my work.
Well, I can't relate to that though, but like I'm not happily married to anything in any kind of concept. I think I've heard of someone like that before, but I will admit it would be plenty hypocritical of me to badmouth you. I guess you just have to explain it to me at some point.
More importantly, I don't assume you came here just to ask me about my stance on the matter. And you don't seem romantically interested in me either. So, would you care to explain what you want to talk about, Fujiwara-san? I will say that I have a hunch onto what is going on, but I don't want to assume.
It's, I'm in love with Kain. She doesn't know that, but I've been for a while now. I haven't found the courage yet, too.
It seems a tad ironic that you, of all people, couldn't find the courage to do something.
This is hard for me, okay? I've never been in this situation before. Don't mock me.
I wasn't trying to mock you. Please continue.
Well, anyways, a few days ago, Kain told me that her parents are trying to push her into an arranged marriage. She doesn't seem to like it, but knowing her, she'll probably go along with it anyways.
Why would her parents push for something like this? Why would Kaina-san go along with it anyways?
It's complicated. I think it has to do with the fact that she's nearing her 30s. I think what happened is that since Kaina hasn't had a boyfriend yet, her parents want to help her by just arranging a marriage. There's some kind of dumb expectation put onto women that they should be married before they turn 30 or something. As if they aren't fit for marriage and thus unfit for love if they don't. I can imagine that Kaina only wants to go along with it because of these dumb expectations. She has always been the one to do what people expect of her.
It does make sense on some level, as human lifespans are so short. But at the same time, especially nowadays, it should be left up to the individual.
That's what I'm thinking too. But you know, society and its dumb expectations. Anyways, I don't have the right to tell Kaina whether or not she should go along with this, but I feel like if she does, I will lose her forever. Not just that my feelings will go unrequited, but that I will lose her as a friend. At the same time, I'm afraid that she doesn't want anything to do with me if she knew how I felt.
And you wanted to ask me for advice on the matter.
To be honest, I don't know who else I could talk to. I'm sorry if it's too much to ask. Like you said, we aren't exactly close. I just don't know anyone I'd trust with this.
Why trust me at all?
I don't know, you just seem very trustworthy, very diligent. Also, you have a unique perspective on things. Since you are basically a foreigner and all.
Very well, I will give you my advice then. Go and talk to Kaina-san about this.
What?
Confess your feelings to her. However she may react, if you don't bring your feelings up to her, your feelings will stay forever unsaid. And since you are the kind to hold grudges, you will most likely regret it for the rest of your life. Besides, I cannot imagine her abandoning you over this. It is quite clear that she cares very much about you. I cannot see the two of you going separate ways because of your feelings for her.
You're right. I have to go, right now.
Leave your tab to me.
Thanks, Reisen.
No need to thank me. Just take care of my tab the next time we go out like this.
I will. I owe ya. Hey, there we go. I had a good talk. Go confess your feelings. Running all the way to find Kain and stuff like that. Through the rain, through the mist, through the crowds. Try to find her. It's a bit awkward to listen to someone like panting like this, honestly. It's a bit weird. So I'm gonna talk over that until we reach the next point, unless, Alright. ring-a-ding-dingling things. Phone, please. Oh, this is kind of speaking. Third voice. Thankfully, there's only 3 voices here.
Mokou?
Hey, Kine. Sorry that.
You are completely drenched. Is everything alright? Are you hurt? Did something happen?
Oh,
Come in first. I'll make you some tea.
I don't think we've ever met Kine. We've heard the name before, but have we seen her? I don't know. So far so good. Oh God, how do I even bring this up to her? You can hear her heartbeat though. She's been alive for 1,300 years or something like that. Fights to the death all the time and dies quite often, but like this is emotions. Fuck. Calm down, Mokou. You can do this. Even if you can't, you came this far. There's no turning back now. I can't believe I've never been this scared of anything before. Maybe I should just... Don't run away. Don't run away, Mokou. Come on. Oh, that's kind. Okay.
Here you go.
Thanks.
Have you calmed down a bit?
Not at all. Yeah.
Do you want to explain to me what happened?
Do you remember how we first met?
That was quite something, wasn't it? It was just when I was just started as a teacher. I was doing some shopping around town when suddenly some of my students bumped into me. They came running out of an alleyway and seemed to be afraid of something. When I looked, I saw you, just casually strolling out of the alleyway with blood all over your face. I don't remember exactly what happened afterwards though. I just remember being very angry at the boys and us running away.
They tried to mug me, so I told them if they could defeat me, I'd give them 1,000,000 yen each. Of course, they took the bait. My plan was to teach them a lesson so they won't end up as petty crooks. I didn't expect one of them to rack me the iron pipe, though. It wasn't too bad, but apparently me just taking that hit made them scared as hell. When they called you sensei, I was sure I was in a lot of trouble. But instead, you just straight up headbutted each of them and apologized on their behalf. Okay? What? I was like, I would not expect guys to headbutt them. Okay, that's... What? Neat. Her. Who's doing this face? Headbutting people. Really? That's just like... You even offered to help me with my injuries. I've never seen anything like that. I think nobody has ever gotten my attention that fast.
Well, knowing them and seeing you, the situation was pretty obvious to me. I couldn't let that stand. They hurt you badly after all. You clearly didn't even try to defend yourself. You just took that beating from them. They didn't have a single scratch in contrast. It was just not right.
Well, I couldn't beat up a bunch of kids. It would just be wrong for me to defend myself. But when the police officer came around the corner, I just knew he would probably arrest us. All he could see is 2 ladies, one clearly covered in blood, and a bunch of teenagers who were knocked out. It must have looked like we were trying to mug them. Kinda had no other choice but to run.
Oh, yeah, I think I've never had to run from the law before or since.
You shouldn't make a habit out of it anyway.
It was quite a shocker to realize we lived this close to each other and never met before.
It happens. I mean, I do work everywhere and anywhere.
I guess you're right.
You know, when you looked at me that day and when you insisted on taking care of my wounds, I thought to myself that I've never met such a kind person before. It was like I met a saint or something. When I got to know you better though, it was almost like you became more and more kind to me. Every time I thought you can't be any more kind, you proved me wrong. Even now, when I'm so unreasonable and just barge into your home in the middle of the night, the first thing you did was ask if I'm okay.
I mean, who wouldn't in a situation like this?
Most people wouldn't. Most people would be mad. It's not like people haven't been kind to me in the past, but you're special. Nobody ever made you feel like this. This feeling, wanting to know someone completely, never wanting to be apart from them. I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but it's hard for me to say this. I don't know how or when it happened, but I like you, kind. More than that, I love you. I'm sorry that I'm unreasonable and just unloading this onto you. I felt like if I don't get to say it now, I'll never get to say it.
Mokou.
I didn't want to. Maybe you hate me now. I know that I'm not normal for me to like another woman. I didn't choose this, it just happened to me. And if you hate me now, I'll leave you alone. I'm sorry to bother you.
No. No, you don't have to go, please.
Obviously, come on, obviously.
I could never hate you. Not for something like this. Honestly, I don't know how I feel. I've never given love much thought. You know, you grow up and everyone tells you that you will find a man someday and fall in love. But it never happened to me. Even when all my friends in school had boyfriends, I didn't want one. I just didn't get it. I thought it was fine this way. But then I met you and I don't know. All I know is that you are very important to me, Mokou.
God.
I don't know if we are feeling the same way. This is new to me too. But I know I like you. I want to know more about you. I want to see you be happy. And I don't want to lose you, either. Nobody has ever made me feel this way. So please, don't go.
Oh, it makes me so happy to hear you say that. But I feel like if you went and got married, I don't get to be close to you anymore. Not like this, at least. You'd be busy with your new family, I could be your best friend and come visit you. I wish I could say it would be enough for me, but I know it won't be. We couldn't get closer. It feels like that would be impossible. And that scares me.
This whole arranged marriage business, that was my parents' idea. I didn't want to go along with it to begin with. It just felt like I had no choice in the matter. And given what you said and what I feel, I don't think I will play along with this arrangement anymore.
Really?
You are more important to me, Mokou. At least I think so. And I mean, so far they didn't even pick out Nakodo. They just sprung the idea onto me last week. I haven't given them an answer yet. So no harm done. I'll call my parents tomorrow and tell them I've met someone.
Does that mean...
I want to give this a chance. I want to give you a chance. This is completely new to me, and I don't understand my feelings for you very well yet. But I want to see where this goes.
Won't they be mad?
They will understand, I'm sure. If I already have someone, I don't need to go along with an arranged marriage, right?
But telling them that you have a girlfriend is little...
Girl... I'll just tell them I've met someone. They don't need to know more than that, for now at least. Besides, I've played the good girl my entire life. I think I can disobey this one time. I can be rebellious and break the rules every once in a while.
Yeah, go for it.
But just because it's for you.
Aw, thank you, Kyle. Aw.
Mokou?
Aw. That's sweet. That's nice. And that's that. End credits with some nice music. There. Different nice music. The music previously was nice as well. God, I like cinematic credits sequence. Character art, backgrounds, pixel tales, DVD art, pixel tales. Yeah, do the credits scenes and stuff like that. Storybook, Ice Lemon, Twitter DB sketches. Hey, Ice Lemon, we've seen Ice Lemon before. A bunch of stuff like that. Voice or proofreading, Winter Noel. Glistening Moon 7. Yeah, that's... Played Asia composition, Zune, arrangement by someone. Ah, right, Zune, that's from the thing. That's from the Touhou maker. Invisible Full Moon, composition, Zune, arrangement by Gan. I'm just gonna listen to music now, as I say the credits. Reach for the Moon, Immortal Smoke, composition, Zune, arrangement. Look, I can't read that. I have no idea how to pronounce that at all. It's symbols. Symbols, there's dagger there. Old World, composition, Zune, arrangement, Gan. I got special good gift from him. Okay. Anyway, this was very informative about a bunch of stuff, and then it was very sweet. I'm an idiot, composition Mitsuhara Fukuyama, arrangement God. Everyone's an idiot. That's fine. I'm an idiot, period point, even. Written and directed by Akiko Osaka. Full on written direction by, ooh, person like that. Cool. That was very nice. I've said that multiple times already, just because I have nothing else to say. And there we go. There's the kiss behind the tree. Did the thing in the. Thank you for playing. I mean, for reading. It's a story. Like in the thing. Thank Touhou Project Pride Game Jam 2. Sometime from 6/7 to 6/21 of some year, of some kind of year. I don't know. There's the green-haired one, who's you. I don't know who that is, and I don't remember. Look, it's so many characters. And then Hakure Ray, we know that one. That's that. Got a bunch of things happening there. Post-credit scene? No, just go to the thing. There we go. That's the conclusion to Project Like a Phoenix. It was something much longer than go whatever. Anyway, that was neat. I like that a lot. Get your relationships, you get your lore, history of world, stuff like that. Emotions there at the end. It's all really sweet and nice and everything else. That's cool. That's neat. I like that kind of stuff. And now I need to rest because I've been spouting stuff for an hour and 6 minutes non-stop at all. Yeah, it's time to go drink water and have like I don't even know anymore. I'm just gonna have some honey there as well because it's nice and delicious. Do yourself a favor. Go and buy like a jar or just get a jar of honey. You'll like just have a spoon of it, like a small teaspoon of it, like once a day. It's real good. It's relatively cheap. It'll last you for like a month or something like that. You know, it's real value for money. Bucket of honey is real good value for money, okay? Go do yourself a favor, get yourself a bucket of honey or jar or something. I don't know whatever receptacle thing honey sold in your local area. Go get that, okay? Support your local bees. Get some honey, okay?